In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about high pressure hose safety. You say, well, that sounds boring. It can be boring. Is it going to happen every day? Nope, it's not. But when it does, I want you to make sure you have the information to keep you safe and to realize that we are dealing with high pressure. And if we are dealing with high pressure, it can be very dangerous. This stuff, high pressure, can actually kill you. That's right, it can actually kill you. It can get into your skin, right into your finger, and the next thing you know, you can get infection, all kind of things. I got some diagrams I'm going to show you of what has happened. Actually, somebody that almost lost his finger from it, and it was a 2-month process. And I'll talk to you about that when we get to that part of it. But again, I just want to make sure that you understand that we are dealing with high pressure, and high pressure can give us, it can hurt us very, very bad. So I'm going to get over here to my stuff here and we'll get started. So high pressure. First off, if we have a hose that's doing this here, dancing, blown it in off, whatever it is, do not try to go grab that. Do not touch that hose at all. The best thing you can do is go turn off the machine and let that hose die of pressure. It takes just one little bit of water getting into you, and I'll show you it doesn't take much for that to happen. So never ever touch a hose that is doing this right here, where it's up in the air dancing. And like I say, the very first thing we want to do is we want to shut that machine down. Next thing, don't ever rinse your skin with high pressure. So I was using my J-rod right here with my high pressure tip right here with the high pressure tip. And I was cleaning myself way out here just because it was nasty, and we were doing this job and we were getting a lot of bleach on us, and we were having to get up close and we was getting it all over us. So I would rinse it off and I was fine. Never had an issue. Well, my employee at the time went like that, and he was a little bit closer than I was. It literally just laid that skin right open, so be careful with this stuff. High pressure hose and high pressure water really can. And again, this here is only about 800 to 1,000 psi is all that little nozzle is. So, we're not even talking high pressure. So, a hose like this that is blown in the air, flying in the air, that could be 3,000 psi, 3,500 psi coming out of that hose. So just be careful. High pressure can be very bad, and it can get you, and it's nothing to play with. So here is a story that a person got some water in his finger there, in his index finger. And if you read over here, it was a very long process. Basically, he was at the hospital, and then he left 6 hours later. 3 weeks later after discharge, he developed pain, swelling, went back to the emergency room, and through that, he had to, 2 months later, he was still performing physical therapy and stuff. But the thing that I want to talk to right here is it can report that 100 psi or greater can break through the skin. And all it takes is to get through the skin, and that's where the problems are going to start happening. So, just be careful out there, guys. It really is something that we need to look at and make sure that we are staying safe and we are not getting injured from high pressure. So, 100 psi, some of even our soft wash systems can blow 100 psi. And the problem with those is if they blow and you bust your skin, and then we put bleach in there or sodium or an acid in there, then that's even worse on us. So we just want to be careful in how we are dealing with pressure. Again, a pinhole rupture in a hydraulic line, pressure washing line, can cause us a lot of issue. And this is one reason why, I don't ever like trying to run my hand, just rub it, run it down that hose. because all it takes is one little spot that has it and we're not paying attention. It can be some very bad thing. Um, so also we want to make sure our couplers and are in all the way. You can see in this picture right here, the little ring right here is showing. So this coupler is not shut all the way. And what can happen is, and I've had it happen to me hooking up my surface cleaner, I've had it hooking up to my pressure washer gun, is if we don't get this clicked in all the way, when we go to turn that pressure washer on, or if we got the ball valve, we go to turn that ball valve on, it can shoot that gun out. And if we're not holding onto that pressure washer hose, it can hit us in the head, it can knock us upside the, it can do some damage with it too. So I always try to hold the pressure in, and that's what I'm talking about down here is, always hold that high pressure in down there, and that way we can hold it and it makes it come open. So you can see right here, the little ring is all gone, and that is how we know that this hose would be all the way locked in. And the other thing is this is called a coupler and this is called a plug. So, we want to make sure our plug is and our coupler all the way 100%. And a lot of times you'll just barely see this ring. And if you just barely see that ring, it means that it's not all the way in. And so a lot of times, what you may have to do is once you get it locked in there, it's not locked in there. You may have to just turn it a little bit, and then you can see that it went right up in there. And once you turned it, now it's not going to come out. But if it's just like that, it could come out real easy and hurt somebody. So this is just something that I wanted to really stress of. This is important stuff. This is something that can send you seriously to the hospital. It can, you could deal, if you're not careful, like that other dude, 6 weeks, 3 months later, he's still dealing, 3 months, 4 months later, still dealing with it, not able to use his finger just because, he was, who knows how it happened. But we just got to be careful. If we see a hose blow, get away. And 9 times out of 10, when they blow, they'll be about 9-10 feet away from you. Usually it kind of goes down, and right there where it's always rubbing on the ground is generally where they will blow. Not always, but a lot of times. Sometimes if a hose gets ran over a bunch, it'll blow in that area that allows, if you're allowing your hoses to get blown or ran over. So that's why we don't really want to let our hoses get ran over, because then it can weaken our hose. And again, this can be a very, very bad situation. So again, just be careful. High pressure can hurt you. High pressure can kill you. You can get, if water gets in there and you don't get it treated right, and it gets, it can hurt you, dude. So you can come out with no arm if you're not careful. If it hits you in the arm and it hits you in the leg, something like that, it can be very bad situation. So just make sure that you're staying safe out there. That's all I'm asking. Just stay safe. Don't be cheap. If you have a high pressure hose and it's starting to have the little where the hose is framed, just get rid of that hose. It's not worth the $1,500 for that hose to blow on you and hurt you. At the end of the day, if that hose comes apart and you got to go to the hospital because that hose came apart or it blew and you got, you hit something along there, and now, that. And also when we're using tips, that red tip can really mess with you. The red, and a lot of these tips can hurt you. Like I say, he went like this and it opened, it just frayed that stuff right open. So just be careful when you're doing this stuff. High pressure, we are dealing with high pressure, anywhere from a couple hundred psi to thousands of psi, and it can be very dangerous. So just be careful, stay safe, and make sure that we're paying attention. That's a lot of it. When something happens, we think about it before we just go run and grab. Think, what do I need to do? What will shut this situation down faster? Is it better just to leave this thing up and flying and go shut the machine down? Or is it better to catch it? Sometimes what'll happen is maybe your ball valve get kicked on and that thing's whipping around. Well, you know what? Maybe it's better to go shut it off instead of trying to reach it and it whips you upside the head or something. So just think about what you're doing. Think about the things that you need to really be careful with. Thank you. See you in my next video.